Hello and welcome to another complete Edexcel GCSE PE lesson, where you'll learn absolutely everything you need to know on the structure and function of the muscular system. Before we begin, if you're interested in the slides I use in my videos, as well as all the past exam questions and mark schemes organised into topics, they'll soon be available to download, so look out for a link in the description to those. The voluntary muscular system works with the skeletal system to bring about movement in the body. You need to know the names and locations of the major muscle groups, as well as the specific movements they create. The deltoids are the shoulder muscles that are involved in all movements of the arm, so flexion, extension, rotation, abduction, adduction, and circumduction. The deltoids raise the arms out to the sides and upwards when setting in volleyball and allow gymnasts to perform a handstand. The pectoralis major covers the chest and adducts the arm at the shoulder joint. For example, the pectoralis major draws the arm towards the midline of the body during the upward phase of a push-up and the execution of a discus throw or forehand drive in tennis. The latissimus dorsi is a broad sheet of muscle that extends from the lower part of the spine to the humerus in the upper arm. It adducts and extends the arm at the shoulder and is central to pulling actions, for example rowing, and the upward phase of a pull-up. The biceps, or biceps brachii, is located on the front of the upper arm. When it contracts and shortens, it creates flexion at the elbow joint, for example during the upward phase of a bicep curl or when drawing back the bow in archery. The triceps, or triceps brachii, is located opposite the biceps on the back of the arm. It extends the arm at the elbow, for example during the upward phase of a tricep dip, blocking in volleyball, or jabbing in boxing. The external obliques are a set of abdominal muscles located on the side of the abdomen, from the lower half of the ribs to the pelvis. They contract to rotate and flex the vertebral column or spine, and when only one side contracts, it creates lateral flexion or a side bend. For example, a diver uses their obliques to adopt a tucked or piked position when performing a somersault. The gluteus maximus is the largest of the buttocks muscles, extending from the pelvis to the femur. It adducts and extends the leg at the hip. For example, it straightens the hip when driving out of the blocks in sprinting and pulls the leg backwards when preparing to kick a ball. The hip flexors are located on the front of the hip and connect the pelvis to the femur. They create flexion in the hip joint. For example, the hip flexors pull the knee upwards towards the chest when sprinting. The quadriceps are located on the front of the thigh from the hip down to the knee. They extend or straighten the leg at the knee, for example when running, jumping upwards, or kicking a ball. The hamstrings are located opposite the quadriceps on the back of the thigh. They bend the leg or create flexion in the knee, for example raising the heel when running or preparing to strike a football. The gastrocnemius or calf muscle runs from the knee to the ankle on the back of the leg. It helps to bend the knee, but more importantly plantar flexes or straightens the ankle joint, for example pointing the toes in diving or gymnastics and pushing off the board in long jump. Finally, the tibialis anterior is right next to the tibia on the front of the lower leg. It dorsiflexes the ankle or pulls the toes upwards towards the shin, for example when ski jumping or raising the toes to swing the leg forwards while running. Well done, you've just covered absolutely everything you need to know on the structure and function of the muscular system. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next time for the 9th syllabus objective on antagonistic pairs.